What's the difference between DIY and doing it yourself? It's the difference between a part-time passion and a full-time business. Wix gives you the power to turn your passion into a moneymaker. With a website that fits your unique vision, let your ideas flow with AI that guides you, but keeps you in the driver's seat. Manage your business from one dashboard and keep it growing with built-in marketing features. It's time to turn your daydream into your dream job. Go to Wix.com.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.
With McValue at McDonald's, you don't just get deals on the drinks. You get deals on McDonald's drinks. So when you're breaking a sweat, embrace the chill without breaking the bank. And when your crew is running on empty, keep your wallet full while refreshing the squad.
Grab a cold drink at a hot price, like a refreshing Coke Zero or sweet tea in any size for only $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right. Check. In 3, 2, 1. It's now time for a very bonus ultimate edition of Game Pass or Pass, the podcast where we normally talk about games on Microsoft's Game Pass service and tell you which games to pass on to a friend. I messed it up because it's normal. Where we normally tell you which games to pass on to a friend and which games to pass on by. But this week, this bonus episode, we're here to talk about the Activision Microsoft merger, as well as Xbox Game Pass Core, the new version of Game Pass, and how we feel about this. And this is a lot of places have been talking about this. It's been going on since January of 2022. And as of this episode, I'm not going to give you a date, but it is not closed. But we're going to assume it is because it's going to close at this point. This is possibly the biggest tech merger in history, not just in the gaming realm. We've talked about this before, but obviously things have changed. The FTC tried to stop the bill. The CMA stopped it in their country, but they are now open for negotiations, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just going to give our thoughts on it, as well as talk about Xbox Game Pass Core and sort of the changes that they made there. And we'll go from there. I am Cory. I'm joined by, who's not a lawyer, but obviously a merger expert, Basher.
I've been merging things since 1985.
1980. Why 1985?
Why not?
Okay. We're doing the Who's Line rule. Just like, would you have nothing to say? Just why not?
You just end it. Buddy, get down. Buddy the cat's on the show. Get down, buddy.
He's up. He's excited about the Activision Blizzard merger. Or no, Activision, sorry, Microsoft merger. That merger already happened probably in 1985.
Let's talk about it.
Call of Duty, Blizzard,
What?
Crash, Spyro. It is all now owned.
I'm getting a new Crash game. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. You know it's going to be good. All the Crash games are going to be good coming out of the new merger.
The big pro-consumer company, Microsoft. This has literally been in the works, like I said, since January 2022. We gave our thoughts then, and I listened to that episode, and we were generally indifferent for the most part about it. The one thing is that we definitely thought they were going to take Call of Duty exclusive eventually, but part of this whole thing was that that's not going to happen, and Microsoft made it very clear that will not happen, and that's mainly just to appease, I won't say Congress, but governments and stuff like that, et cetera. They're not going to put Call of Duty exclusively on Xbox. They've actually signed it into many different deals for different cloud streaming services. They signed a deal with Sony about it, et cetera. So going forward, Call of Duty will not be exclusive, but that does not stop a new Spyro game that is rumored to be in.
It's so telling and hilarious that this huge merger is going down, one of the biggest in history, and all anyone cares about, Sony included, is just give us Call of Duty and you can have everything else because we don't care.
Right. And that's, you if you're listening to this, you probably have already heard half of the stuff. So we're not going to go over exactly what the judge said, and but this came down to Call of Duty. Like it's strange. This was the Activision Blizzard merger, but the only thing that was talked about was Call of Duty. How they're going to bring Call of Duty to this, they're going to bring Call of Duty to that, and X and Y. And Sony's saying, I don't want just Call of Duty. I want to stop your merger. Like clowns. We all looked like clowns in this whole thing. Microsoft looked like clowns, Sony looked like clowns, and the consumer looked like clowns because we let it happen. That being said, now that this deal has closed, in general about the industry, how are we feeling about it?
Honestly feel sort of the same way I've always felt about it. It's great for the Xbox Game Pass consumer. It's a great business deal. However, artistically, creatively, I find it to be bankrupt. It's just the deal going through at the same time that Spencer said the things he did in that interview, in that podcast. Just, it's a bit disheartening to see like the Microsoft Xbox brand become just a service, just a really big service that pumps out really mediocre AAA stuff. I'll go back to like the first Xbox. I mean, I've met lifelong friends on Xbox, and playing those games that were known to be on Xbox. And it just kind of honestly kind of sucks to see like to see it happen officially on the books. Like, yeah, we can't compete in terms of creativity, so we're just gonna buy a bunch of stuff. And that's what Microsoft always done. That's how Microsoft became Microsoft, and that's fine. I'm not mad at it. I hope the deal will have it so that more will allow more creative freedom. Essentially, it won't. That's not the purpose of it. But this is a chance to, I think, do stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way too. Of as a consumer, it's hard to be for it or against it. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of consolidation of this size. That being said, for Microsoft to take this leap into gaming says something. Is it the way that I would want them to do it? No, it's not. It's not at all. I would much rather them be, I don't want to do the thing. I don't want to do the armchair developer. Like, I wish they would have put that 67 billion in developers instead.
Exactly. Yep.
And like,
because that wouldn't work anyway.
Right. Like that's such a it's not a bad argument, but it's kind
of
of
dreamer's argument. Like,
it's tone deaf.
Realistic.
Like that would be if it was that easy to do, they would do it.
Exactly.
And that's really what it is. Making games is hard, people. Like, and as talks keep happening, development times and costs are going up. And we've talked about that on this show many times. Of Sony had an eye, and they probably still do. Maybe not. They had to cancel that game from I don't know, like Gunfire Games or something like that. They signed that team for a game before it was even out, kind of thing, and it didn't work out, and it's now been canceled, kind of thing. We had the Scalebounds, we had the Recores, the not Pacific Rim. What's the card game? It's gonna drive me nuts. The card game that was on Xbox. They're gonna bring Phantom Dust.
Yes.
And like the Killer Instinct. Like they invested in these things, and they just didn't work out. And it's hard to create new IP. So if I'm Microsoft and I have all this money of being like, what if we just like went and bought it instead?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him. Like,
it makes perfect, absolute sense.
Right. And that's annoying that it makes sense. I'm not
Right.
I'm not saying like it's a good thing, but I'm not mad at them for that reason. Like I said, so that's being said, like this is also fully, and we'll talk about Game Pass Core here in a little bit and all that stuff. Like, this is now the beginning of the end of their end game. Of they now have what, 30 plus studios. They own a ridiculous amount of IP. They can now start the process of churning, Game Pass is a service that has to be fed content. You have to feed the beast. They are now in a position to do that, hopefully, relatively on time, and they can do it at a pace that actually keeps people subscribed to it.
You have the IP, you bought the studios for 5 years ago. There's no reason we're not pumping out. Like I fully expect a Summer of Arcade again, like
Right.
like relatively soon. Like
And
there's no reason it shouldn't. But again, my issue with that thinking and why I know it's not true, why I know it's not going to happen. Sony was fully against it, but then you said we'll give you Call of Duty still, and they said okay, fine, you can take it. No more
right,
issues. It's like
right.
like the whole thing was, please don't take Call of Duty away from us, because that's the guaranteed yearly moneymaker. Whereas, like even Bethesda games, they're not guaranteed blockbusters anymore. Like they're crossing their fingers, hoping to God Starfield performs as they need it to, as they wanted to long term. Because it's going to sell like gangbusters the first week. Obviously, it's Starfield. It's a new Bethesda game, but long term, like is it gonna give you those Final Fantasy 16 numbers, those God of War numbers, those Horizon numbers? Like
Maybe.
Maybe, like
With
hopefully.
with the whole, with Game Pass being what it is now, like you realistically do have to look at it and say like it's not going to sell as
True,
much as it was
right?
going to. Like it's just not.
Exactly,
But the way you calculate revenue is different now. So,
exactly.
and but again, like this goes back to the way like Microsoft is truly trying to create a new customer and create a new market in a way. Like it's all going to still be the video game market, but they're attacking it from a different perspective. Now we can have the discussion on like are they diluting games and in all that stuff. I've never been a fan of that argument of, people try to say Netflix devalues movies and it's all trash, and I'm just like, every streaming service, Max, Apple TV, they're all trash, and I'm just like, no. I don't
No, not at all.
subscribe to that at all. And they're like, well, what's the best movie you've seen in a while? I bet you it's not on a streaming service. And I'm just like, the last good movie I saw, well, actually it was Mission Impossible, because that movie's fantastic. But before that was Top Gun, I guess. But before that was like Rocket Man. Like I'm not super impressed by movies that often. So like if there's one or two movies a year that impress me, that's a good year for me. And it's not always in the theater, like I find that argument to be a little bit ridiculous, because there's always been trash TV and there's always been trash movies.
And
It's just
there
they
always be
weren't
trash games too. Like
right.
Microsoft is not going to add to the amount of trash games that come out. I just sincerely hope that they add to the good games that come out. And I mean, and again, they're in a position to do that now.
And this whole race to the bottom that supposedly Game Pass is not performing, but is encouraging. I don't find a lot of faith in those arguments, and it usually comes from people that are brand loyalists and like, well, I want to do it the Sony way of like this. Okay. I absolutely hate this argument that Sony does this more organically. Of, well, Microsoft went out and bought Bethesda and Activision, whereas Sony, like, they went out and they bought Insomniac, but they had worked with Insomniac for X amount of years. They worked with Housemarque X amount of years. And I'm like, yeah, like, you're not wrong. Like that happened. Like they slept with them for a while before they married them, and Microsoft went straight for the ring.
Right.
But at the end of the
Exactly, yeah.
day, it's the same thing. Like it still amounts to in the same amount of things going exclusive. Like
exactly.
all right. So I don't find a lot of faith in those arguments. Where was I going with that? What were we talking about before?
I don't know where you're going with it. I'm not in your head, bro.
Where was I going with that? I don't remember where I was going with that. So I'm sure there's someone like screaming at their headphones. Anyways, I digress. all that being said, how I'm feeling about the merger, I think where I'm with you is that they have a lot of opportunities. However, I don't expect anything to change in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't. Are we going to get a Hexen reboot? Probably not. Probably not.
Bubsy the cat, bring it back, guys.
Right. Like, are we going to get a Singularity sequel? Probably not. Like, I
I
wish
will
we
tell
were.
you my biggest concern with the way Microsoft has successfully um found a niche, or not, it's not a niche at this point, successfully found their footing in the gaming environment. So when we first talked about Game Pass, when we first started this podcast, my part of my concern was Microsoft going fully service model in the gaming sphere. This, I think, puts the period on that sentence. Like that's what they're going to do. We already knew that though. So now my concern is keeping that service. So how do I phrase this? So Netflix was the biggest streaming service in the world, the only streaming service in the world, for quite a bit, and then other platforms started popping up. It's just the nature of the beast. When the industry sees something working, the industry reacts and tries to do it as well. And there's eventually going to be something, if not bigger, if not better than Game Pass. My question then for Microsoft is, what do you do then if you're still not, as Spencer said, competing with Nintendo and Sony for the better game? Like, if Nintendo all of a sudden comes up with a better service, if the Sony all of a sudden comes up with even just an equally good service, maybe even slightly worse, people are going to look at at Game Pass just like to look at Netflix or Apple or Max and go, I got $20-$30 this month. Do I still want to keep Game Pass, or do I want to go to the competitor? So that's my new concern with the merger and where Game Pass headed.
Microsoft. Yeah, follow through is not Microsoft's best, skill. In any industry that they do, the short term and the medium term, like very rarely do they add an actual new product to their catalog. The Xbox and the Surface are some of the only things, and Azure are probably some of the only things that they've gotten. But like Office 365 and stuff like that, like they're truly a service-based company now, and so this makes sense to why they're going 100% service-based. Phil Spencer was able to basically, when he took over Xbox, supposedly, Nadella asked him, like, what are we doing in gaming? Why are we in gaming? And he was able to come up with a way to make that make sense for Microsoft. Is that right or wrong? Time will tell. But yeah, I'm with you in that, like, the next 5 to 10 years are going to be very interesting because, them dropping $70 billion, like, granted, when you drop $70 billion, you don't lose $70 billion. You've gained $70 billion in assets. So it's not like if it goes horribly wrong, like all of a sudden they're going to go bankrupt or anything like that. They probably look for a sell-off or something like that. I only say that just because it's like, sometimes it's hard for people to understand that. Like when you spend 70 billion, it doesn't mean you lost 70 billion, if that makes sense. But the reason I say that is because, like I said, the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be investing even more money in that. Like we've already seen with their latest summer showcase, whatever you want to call it, they're going big on some of this stuff. Starfield, for Fable, for what's the name of that game that I can't, or the Clockwork Revolution. Like, they are still investing in gaming, but it's becoming more risky and more expensive. So as that keeps happening, when you have a service-based company, something breaks eventually. And we'll talk about, we did have finally the first Game Pass increase and different tiers and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm with you. Like my biggest fear is that when you have a disruptor, when you have a Spotify, when you have a Netflix, and you have all that, like you said, they come in, they change the game, and everyone follows suit. Sony already kind of has, like they read, PlayStation Plus Premium and whatever the ultimate one is called. That's a response to Game Pass. That's exactly what
trash,
it is.
Though we know that, like that's only gonna evolve and mature in some way. Like if not complete, I think Sony's just going to drop that completely and introduce something new in the next 5-10 years.
It's possible. I guess I wouldn't call it trash. I think the I'll say the issue with it. Sony has made it very clear that they do not want to do the day one games thing. That's the biggest differentiator, right? Microsoft says we're putting our games day one. Sony's saying absolutely not.
That makes sense. Perfect sense for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if I was Nintendo, I would do the same thing. Like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And Nintendo sort of does it already with their Premium Plus thing, where you get different emulators, but like you get all the Mario Kart DLC and you get the Splatoon DLC and all that stuff. So like everyone's already dabbling in this, but Microsoft is by far the leader when it comes to like, we're going all in on this whole thing.
Right.
And it makes sense for them because what else are they going to do? They've tried many times and failed at competing directly with these other two companies. And so what happens if Game Pass doesn't do what they need it to do? Like that is a truly terrifying question. And we'll have to wait and see. But
and I mean, like, and it's a very real possibility because that's just the nature of any industry. Like a competitor comes out with a service that emulates yours, and now people have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And in a very hypothetical situation, if Sony were to deliver something equally as good, Sony's the winner in that case.
Yeah, and it's
like, and that's a very scary thing, in my opinion, because I love the competition in this sphere especially, and I like what Microsoft offers. And I genuinely like every generation. I will completely crap on one console or company because I think they deserve it. Like years ago when we were doing our other podcast, I was crapping all over Nintendo because the Wii U was out, I think, and everything was basically trash unless it was first party. Like everything was absolutely trash, really trash console. But then it came out the Switch, which is arguably the best console out. So I am definitely worried about where Microsoft will end up going in case of a true competitor, because they kind of admitted like they're not capable of doing it the other way. So as long as they keep evolving in how they, I think it's less concern, I guess.
Yeah, and it's for me, like the biggest thing is, and it's going to come down to the same reason why Nintendo people are Nintendo people, is it's the games. Like that's truly what matters. Like we can sit here all day and compare business models and compare PlayStation Plus to Game Pass and all that. And it's like, well, they get day one games. And at the end of the day, again, we just talked about Exoprimal. Game's not good. like it does not matter if the games are not good, who cares? And that's really what it comes down to. And it seems like they understand that, but they still have to execute on that.
Oh, and absolutely.
And they've had a rough go of that. Like a lot of their bets have not panned out. Halo used to be the reason to own an Xbox, and I could tell you right now that I don't really care about Halo anymore.
I don't think anybody does. It's just very sad.
And that's okay. But the problem is that it's not because people gave up on it. It's that they kept releasing subpar products and people gave up on it. It's different when, like, I think Gears is in a different position. Speaking as somebody who's a huge Gears fan, Gears 4 and 5 are good games, but they're not phenomenal games. Like that first Gears trilogy, those were moments in gaming history. You remember when Gears came out. You remember that demo that they did.
Yeah, 1 to 3 Gears is classic. Like,
right. Yeah. Gears 4 and 5?
Man.
Like
they're not bad. They're not bad.
I enjoyed them. But yeah, like they don't.
I don't like 4, but I don't think it's bad.
I think 5 is significantly better than 4. I don't know why 5 gets a lot of hate. I mean, it's got some issues, but I don't. Yeah. Point is that Gears and Halo are in different situations. It's just like Halo is just they've beaten it into the ground so many times, whereas Gears, it's just like they're having trouble reaching that peak, and that happens in gaming. Everything is it's all temporary. There's nothing concrete in the gaming industry except maybe Mario, I guess. But I digress. It's going to be interesting, and Microsoft has to do more of those 360 moments of, we're going to create this IP and we're going to give you new things to do. And that's where Sony's really excelled of letting new things thrive. Like Ghost of Tsushima is a fantastic video game that has a lot of things that I hate about modern gaming, but I was able to look past it because of just the creativity in that game. They need more stuff like that. They have the opportunity.
Enough, I think I'm going to cut you off, but funny enough, I think it's one of my least favorite titles from that studio. but you're right. It's still like technically a phenomenal game. Like,
yeah,
like
it's not for me, but I understand why people love it, kind of thing. And I can totally look past my issues with it and say, like this is a pretty good game. So, but yeah, so that's, I don't think we feel that different about it. Like I said,
and that's not to say Sony doesn't have its misses either. I want to make clear, like Returnal, like no one's playing Returnal. Like no, that game came and left very, very quickly. But at the same time,
I like Returnal, but it's not. It's a very weird product in Sony's lineup. It does not, like, just because it's third person has some cinematics doesn't mean it matches their style. If that makes sense. That game to me, actually, I think is a little bit overrated. It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me, but it's not Housemarque's best work.
I was surprised you went that high with it. By that high, I mean, I would have been like maybe 7.5. But yeah, I mean, but even that though, like, even like, again, I will never understand. It's just a philosophy thing at the top, because no one can ever truly pinpoint the reason why when Nintendo puts out a game and you have a pretty good idea, it's going to be pretty good.
Right. There's just a quality there. Yeah.
Like, and like the same thing with Sony, like a game like Returnal, like where neither one of us love. It's the same way you described the last 2 Gears. Returnal still wasn't bad. It still wasn't Exoprimal level. It still had a level of quality there that's like, no, this is still like pretty good, like worth the price. So I just don't think, I can't help but think rather that this deal is, let's lock down Call of Duty, because I just don't have faith in Microsoft overseeing Bethesda, who's already putting out less than quality games. I mean,
right. Microsoft
Redfall
has
absolute
a problem.
garbage.
Yeah, like Microsoft.
Before that was Deathloop.
Yes.
Forgettable. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
That's an Arcane game though, through and through, where it's like Arcane fans love those games. I don't love them.
It didn't set the world on fire. It didn't do the gangbusters, but it's fine. But it's just not.
It reviewed well though.
Yeah, right.
So it has that prestige about it. About like, this is a quality game.
I don't trust Microsoft overseeing an already, for lack of a better word, middling quality company in Bethesda, to make sure that the games coming out of this company are going to be at least Deathloop level.
Right. It's Microsoft support, as them being like, supporting their studios. They've had some misfires for sure. And them adding more studios to it is not going to help, in my opinion. But at the same time, when you buy these companies, you're not buying just their assets. You're buying procedures, you're buying trade secrets, you're buying that. So maybe one of these companies, the one thing that, look, Bobby Kotick is an absolute piece of trash.
He's a business genius.
Exactly. But man, he sure as heck was able to pivot Activision from who you used to get 2 or 3 Activision releases a year. And now all you get is Call of Duty. And you know what? Call of Duty might not be the best game every year, but it works. Like people still buy it. You're still buying those skins. So like they clearly understand their market and they get people to spend money on their products. So again, don't like them, but he's clearly going to take a golden parachute out of this deal. But at the same time, there's clearly some things that they can learn from the Activision cycle, or the machine that is Activision and Call of Duty, basically. So a lot of it's again, we're speculating basically, but like when it comes to finalize this, it's just I don't feel any different about the deal. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's anti-consumer the way a lot of people do. But I don't like seeing so many IP and so many developers being under one roof. I don't want, we already kind of silo things into three pillars, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. I guess maybe four if you include PC, but they're kind of neutral a little bit, but I don't want that to get worse kind of thing. But at the same time, Activision is sitting on so many IP that they just don't bother with because they haven't found a profit path the way they have with Call of Duty. And I think Game Pass could be that path. I think Game Pass could be how you get another Crash Bandicoot that doesn't underperform. Maybe you do get a Hexen reboot. It doesn't have to be a AAA title, and you're not going to make $100 billion on it. But hey, you could use a Hexen reboot by Night Dive Studios. Like, give $10 million. Like there are paths to get games, and that's what I most care about. Is I want games. I don't want just Call of Duty. I don't want just Gears of War. I don't want just the tentpole games. I want games of all kinds and quality, and Game Pass has provided that. And so that's where I'm excited as a gamer of seeing somebody pump in this much money to care about it that much, but they have to do something with it. I don't think when this deal officially closes, is Phil Spencer going to walk in and be like, "Yo, Hexen, let's do it"? Absolutely not.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine that?
I would love it. But I think
hilarious.
In 3 or 4 years, when a smaller studio comes and was like, "Hey, like we got an idea for Hexen," like somebody giving those developers opportunities, I think is now on the table because they have the machine that is Game Pass. So a lot of that's wishful thinking, and I get that. But yeah, anything else you want to say on the merger?
I think I agree with all of that completely. Like 100%. The only deviation for me is the probably the reasoning for a certain thing you said. I also don't think it's anti-consumerish as most people. I'm with you there, but the reason I don't think that is because they literally play for Call of Duty and Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like if they bought the old Bethesda, I would say this is completely anti-consumerist. Like, no, there's no way. There's no way. Like, this is ridiculous. Just stop this right here, right now. There's too many good games coming out. Like, you can't just do that. But like, the fact of the matter is, like, this really not. Like,
no,
even the biggest Starfield fan, like, come on, like, you see some cracks in that armor. You see it, like,
right, and that's, oh geez, I just fell out of my chair. That's gonna
oh no,
out. New chair, everybody. That was awkward. I think a lot of things that have been that we've seen lately is, and we've had this conversation many times off the air of just like gaming is not bulletproof. Like, these developers are not bulletproof to where every 5 to 10 years, I think a developer has to prove themselves again. People move on.
Yeah.
And it's, you look at something like the Coalition, which was doing Perfect Dark, and the whole idea behind the Coalition was the all-star team. We're going to get the dude that did Grand Theft Auto. We're going to get the dude that did Uncharted. We're going to get the writer from X. We're going to, that was the plan, right? And it fell apart. Like, gaming has just gotten too big to the point. It's just like, you can't have just 10 people that have done this before and it work. Like, it's not bulletproof.
That's never how it worked anyway, though. Like
in the Super Nintendo, PlayStation days, it was like that's what you did.
I guess my point is, like, people weren't putting together super teams. Like, they were just there's usually you usually have someone with a vision, and then he picks people, or he
Right.
or she would pick people who are just good at what they do, and they happen to become a super team.
Right.
Like,
It's right.
like
They've
that's kind of how it needs to go. Like Kojima
he
is
went
his
viral.
studio.
Yeah, like Kojima is very good at becoming viral. When Kojima releases something, people pay attention. Like it's like because he's so out there. That's
Because
exactly what happened
it's
before.
his vision. Wherever he goes, he brings people who we like. We don't trust anyone else on that super team to make
Right.
anything great. We trust
And
Kojima to pick people to do the things that he wants to do.
right. And Kojima's very good at making sure his ideas get across. That his vision comes to life. It's very much a Double Fine. Like Double Fine is a studio that I very much respect, but they very rarely have a hit on their hands. It's but they do what Tim Schafer wants to do. And he's got a mind for this, and that's the kind of stuff that I get excited about. But yeah, I don't want to keep repeating myself. So I'll let you close out your thoughts.
Oh, I mean that's really it. I think at the end of the day, this merger is great for the Game Pass consumer in terms of quantity. I hope we get quality. However, I am fairly sure we will not.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll at least be somewhere in the middle. Like I don't need every game to be an absolute home run, but
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but I want to see I want to see creative things. And as much as I'm not super hyped about Starfield, man, I hope that game's good. Like I really do. Like I hope that game is phenomenal. Um, and
I,
we'll go from there. So
yeah. I mean, I agree. I hope every game's phenomenal. Honestly, like I don't want any game to be bad. Like I
right,
hope every game is absolutely phenomenal, and we'll see for sure.
right. So and to finish up this conversation, in the midst of all this, Game Pass got a big change, and I'm gonna be completely honest and a little upset. I think people are not understanding what this actually means. And not that like it's the world is falling and you should no longer be a Game Pass subscriber, but this is confirmation that Microsoft is not only again going full in on Game Pass, but yeah. So Game Pass Core is the new thing. Xbox Live Gold is officially going away, but you do still need to pay for something to play online. So going forward, games with gold will be ending on September 1st. Any game that you purchased with or any games with gold game that you got during the Xbox One era, if it's a 360 game or older, you get to keep it. As long as even if you're not subscribed, if it's an Xbox One game or newer, you still have to keep your subscription to play those games. So that's not a change, but they just kind of confirm that going forward. You will need Xbox Game Pass Core to play online, and you will also get a catalog of 25 titles that is expected to grow throughout the years. The following games, let's see here. New titles will be announced 2 to 3 times a year. So this is not going to be the same library that Game Pass PC and Game Pass console get. Completely different. Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, and the Elder Scrolls Tamriel Unlimited. Game library may vary by time and country. So console Game Pass is going up $1 from $9.99 to $10. Same thing, new games day one, member deals and discounts. PC is not changing either, $9.99 a month. Hundreds of games, new games day one, membership deals. You also get EA Play. And then there's Ultimate, which is both of them. And you also get online console multiplayer. Again, the key here is that Core gets you to online multiplayer. Console Game Pass does not. You still need to pay for Core and console if you want both. But at that point, you might as well just get Ultimate because it comes with both anyway. And then you get PC. So, way to make something that was already confusing more confusing, I must say. So what's your take on that? Like,
This is stupid.
yeah, I agree.
This is absolutely stupid. This is absolutely dumb. Like for years, we've not as if we should be in a marketing team or whatever. For years, we've stop, buddy, get off the, come down. For years, we've offered the solution to this. One price, one tier. Say Xbox Live is free.
Right.
Like that's all you have to do.
There's
the
got to
only
be a ridiculous amount of people just paying for gold still. Like there's got to be like it's got to be like 8 to 10 million or something because like it's free revenue at that point, right? Like, but it's man, if you play on console, you are getting screwed. like truly. $10 on PC, you get everything. Console, minimum of 17.
Yeah, and I'm still confused what core is, because core is
It's basically Xbox Live Gold, but instead of games with gold, you get this rotating, it's not even really rotating library, a library of mostly first party stuff and stuff that's published by Microsoft.
but why is it less than console? When console doesn't have online multiplayer.
I think my question is why doesn't console just include multiplayer?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
yeah, like that's the. I mean, I get it because then they can charge you for Ultimate, right? But then again, on PC, again, they're not gonna try to charge you to play on PC because they know they can't get away with
exactly,
it.
right.
So what I will say is when you want to talk about anti-consumer, this is a extremely sleazy move. And the reason I say that is because not a single person cares that Xbox Games with Gold is going away. And nobody seems to think that's a problem. Like, Games with Gold has been mostly very, very poor quality titles for about 2 years now. And that's why you don't care it's going away. If you're an Xbox Ultimate member, your price just went up and you are now losing a perk, which was Xbox Games with Gold. Now, that's not me saying that you should be upset because the Games with Gold was these quality titles. You are losing a part of your subscription and you are now paying $2 more a month. They're not giving you anything else. You already get everything else that everybody else already gets. And you're now losing a thing.
Now, we already knew this was going to happen. We already knew they were to raise the price of Game Pass. We said this
right.
Every single State of Game Pass podcast we've done is going up, is going up, is going up. We know it's going to continue to go up. This is just the first price hike.
Right.
Like my biggest issue is you're raising the money by raising the price while also conflating the entire thing. Like nothing's confusing because now it used to be I can tell someone who's looking for a console or whatever, like, hey, just buy an Xbox, you get Game Pass.
Right. You can't. Yeah. That already was a little bit convoluted. Like
right.
For us, it's we ran into this a couple times of like, I don't know what game is coming to mind, but we'll just say Exo Primal. It was Outriders. Outriders was one of them. Outriders came out on console Game Pass, but not PC Game Pass day one. And that was an issue where I was like, hey, let's play Outriders. And I'm fairly certain you tried to install it on PC. Like, it's not on PC. And I was like, oh, I guess it's only on console. Like, that's usually not the case, but that did happen. But now, like you said, now you can't even say that. Like, you can't even like be like, just get Game Pass. It's like, well, no, you have to go get Game Pass console. But if you want to play online, like, this might seem like making a mountain out of a molehill, but this is just beyond stupid. At the very freaking least, any game that is in Xbox Game Pass on console, you should be able to play online. If you get Xbox Game Pass console and try to play Exo Primal, you cannot do it. You have to then buy Core or Ultimate. That is dumb. I could go to PC, pay $1 less, and play everything online. Like, stop. like, and I think the most frustrating part of this is that Microsoft is doing this for one reason and one reason only. They can now bolster the numbers of Game Pass and make it look better than it is.
Yep.
Yep.
That's it.
Because they're going to take those 8 to
it.
10 million people
That's absolutely it.
that were Xbox Live Gold members that basically are going to be transitioned to this new version. Again, 99% of people, they're going to hear this, they're going to shrug and just be like, okay, whatever, I don't care. Like, it's the same price for me. I don't care. I didn't like games with gold anyway. Those games suck. So now I can play Doom Eternal. Great. That's awesome for me. But then Microsoft is going to turn right around and in December or whatever, they're going to say, we grew Xbox Game Pass by 8 million subscribers this time. It's like, no, you didn't. Like, you did not do that. However, because of your the way you're manipulating these numbers and bullying people into Game Pass, you can now claim that. That's the only reason this is happening.
And that's the other thing I don't like either, because now that's the perfect terminology. You're bullying people into getting Game Pass, whereas before it was like, again, you got an Xbox, bro, you have to get Game Pass. You get like and you can say with it sounds stupid, but you can say like it's just a pride almost, like you're stupid not to get it. Go get it. But now it's like, you bought an Xbox, like, what are you trying to do with it? Okay,
Right.
well, you should get this one. Unless you want to do this, then you should get this one. And if you get this one, just know these went up in price like last month. It might go up again. Like, it doesn't. I think you texted this. It's bad. If anything, it's bad press.
It should be, but they have masterfully manipulated this into making it good press, because the people that are already paying for gold, which whatever, like, those people don't care anyway, right? Like, they're still paying for Xbox Live Gold only. They don't care about Game Pass. They don't care. The only people that really are affected by this are Ultimate subscribers. Again, I'm not saying that you need to unsubscribe because they're taking Games with Gold away. They made Games with Gold so bad that you do not care it's going away. That's a problem. That is 100% masterfully manipulated as well. This has been in the works for months, if not years. Like, they did not make this decision last month. They knew at least a year, maybe more in time, like, okay, this is the time we are sunsetting this. And that is 100% the time they started drip feeding and making the quality of Games with Gold worse. Games with Gold used to be good. You used to get Games with Gold and your Game Pass drop, and they both used to be good. And now one is so bad that you don't even care that it's going away. Like, and they've been able to wrap everything around and being like, okay, look, hey, you're going to get you're going to get better games now, even though we are the ones that are responsible for Games with Gold being terrible. And people are just like, yeah, woohoo. Like, I don't. So people are eating the PR so hard, and it's so frustrating.
History always repeats itself. In my opinion, they are on extremely shaky ground here. This could be a beginning of the end of the Game Pass Microsoft success story, because what you're looking at is, again, I'm comparing to Netflix again. Netflix came into the scene, offered a low price for all this stuff, for all this content at this rate, and then you were good. And then they said, oh, you want high definition? That's an extra cost. Oh, wait, you want more people to share with? That's an extra cost. Oh, wait, you don't live in the same house? That's an extra cost. All the while, all these different services started popping up around it. Netflix is no longer the market share. When you're looking at the Xbox Game Pass model, it feels eerily similar to me right now, because
the model's not even the same now. The model's completely changed.
Right. Like, and I almost understood why Netflix, I do understand why Netflix changed the model up so many times, and it's what it is now is because they were already losing market share. So they had to recoup money the best way they could. Game Pass is not there yet. They have no direct competitor. They're not, like, they're winning right now, and they're already making this move to where gold is so bad you have to go ultimate. And that's just step one. Step two is to make core so bad, you have to get ultimate. Like they're just going to slowly move you along until you're looking at, it's like, I'm paying this money for a service that I've been, again, bullied into, and it's going to, and I think it's going to happen around the same time Sony or Nintendo go, hey, we figured out this Game Pass thing for ourselves now. Check out this.
Right. And again, I think the only reason this is happening is because they want to say they have more Game Pass subscribers. That's it. That's the same reason why HBO Max did an ad tier when they said they weren't going to do it. It's the same reason why Netflix said they weren't going to do. They were fine with password sharing until they weren't. like I'm not mad at them for wanting to bolster Game Pass and get more subscribers.
I agree.
Manipulating the numbers, not okay with that. And again, it's the Game Pass model with this is completely changed. The whole idea behind Game Pass and why it was so special was because you get all these great games and you get Microsoft Day One games with it. Like that was the selling point. That's no longer the case. There are certain tiers that have that. But the more convoluted and stupid you make this, shareholders only care about how many Game Pass subscribers do you have. This is a reason to bolster that number. Again, I'm not mad at them for it. It's very sleazy though. You could have done this a better way. All you really had to do, make a core, but still give you day one games, and just just get rid of this requirement to pay to play online. Take the PR win, make console version, just have exactly what you want for it. This wasn't hard, but it's like they were not willing to give up those Xbox Live Gold people. And it's like, I get it, because that's free money, right? But at the same time, take the PR win. There's a world that we live in to where Call of Duty will be on Game Pass in a couple years. If you have the console version of Game Pass, you don't get to play online. The main thing that you buy Call of Duty for. That's your PR win. That is worth enough of being like, if you go over to Sony, you have to pay to play online.
Can you play Diablo?
No.
Right. If any game that's always online, you can't play.
No. Yeah. The only thing that's free to play is actual free to play stuff, which they did change, which good for them. Finally, it took them 8 years longer than it should have. But that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm not trying to ring the bells and, like you said, of just like, it's all falling down, but it's like, this is a very stupid step that people are overlooking and they're not paying attention to it, because exactly like you said, this is step one of, you can no longer do it easy. Like, the only way that I can realistically go to somebody and say, you should get Game Pass is if you're on PC, because there's no questions about it. $10 a month, you get everything. Or if you're on console, I don't even want to recommend console or core to you. They're not worth it. You need to get Ultimate on that case, which is it's $17 a month. Still a phenomenal value. Do not get me wrong. I am not going to unsubscribe. I'm not going to tell you anybody should unsubscribe. But these are the kind of moves that they do to bolster numbers that can ultimately end up being a problem. And you can frustrate people. And instead of like just simply going, yo, buy this, done, you now have to ask these questions. I can no longer sell Game Pass as a consumer to my friends of being like, you get everything day one. I'm like, well, yeah, you got to buy Ultimate if you really want to get the thing that you want. Like,
and which is always an instant turnoff in any conversation you have with someone. Whenever you try to tell someone to buy a thing, a physical product, and it comes with services, plural, the second you give them the plural option, they go, I just wanted a thing. I didn't know it was like I don't care. No.
That's a very real thing. I have a coworker, and I've brought this up before. He recently got a Series S through Verizon for like $200. And he came to me asking me questions about Game Pass. And like, it was a little bit tough to talk to him then, but I was able to sort of manipulate my way around it simply because I knew he wasn't on PC. And I was like, you got console, but if you're not going to play online, then you don't got to get Ultimate. And even that he was still much like, he's like, wait, I I have to pay to play online. He's like, but I played Halo and I didn't have to pay. I was like, well, Halo's free to play. He's like, but I thought it was on Game Pass. And I was like, well, Halo Infinite campaign is on Game Pass.
It's
but
so
the multiplayer
easy.
was free to play. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, when they start hearing us like, well, this is free and this is not free, they instantly don't care anymore. They're just
don't
like,
care.
yeah, it's just like, okay, I don't care. Like, so this gentleman ended up buying MLB The Show, which was on Game Pass. He doesn't want to play it online. He just wants to play the season mode. And he's like, yeah, I'll probably buy next year's too. And I'm just like, I just want to like shake him and just be like, dude, just get Game Pass. Like, just get Game Pass. And then you also get Vampire Survivors, which is incredible. Like, and it's so frustrating as a consumer. But again, this isn't for the consumer. This is for the shareholders. This is to bolster the numbers. So I'm ranting at this point. But again, I'm so frustrated because they masterfully crafted this. This is a bad thing, and people are celebrating it. And this was timed because you know what everybody's talking about? The fact that Microsoft won their case and they're going to get Activision. That's
Right,
all.
exactly.
That's
Yep.
the only thing that people care about. And they're like, that's amazing. I'm an Xbox fan. I love that. And this thing happens, and they're like, oh, it's fine. Again, they've distracted you with something over here while doing something over here, and you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Like, so frustrating.
The core subscriptions are going to go up. Overall Game Pass subscriptions are going to go up. We'll be having this conversation again next year or next state of Game Pass, and I can almost guarantee you that $16.99, $19.99, guys. What do you mean? We acquired all these great games. So you get in Starfield 2. Like, what are you talking about? Like and all they really had to do, like, it still would have been Slimy would have been, in my opinion, acceptable, or not even acceptable, but more palatable, is if they just said, forget all these tiers. Xbox Ultimate is all you need. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is all you need. Just Xbox Game Pass, period. It's all you need. One price. You don't have to, quote unquote, pay for online. Yeah, the price goes up overall, but you're no longer, quote unquote, paying for online. It's just rolled into the price.
Right. Just again, two different tiers. Make them $13 a month, even 13, 20. Done. Like, if you got PC, you can spend 13. You got console, you can spend 13. If you want both, $20, you save $6. Like, done. That's it. And you know what? It's still worth it at that price. Like, it's still worth it at $20 a month because you're still saving so much money. And I'm annoyed.
You don't mention online gatekeeping.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Again,
it's so
all
weird
you had
to me.
You could simply say, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 comes out, $13 a month.
That's it. You win. You just won. You just won the PR war.
But you can't say that now. You can say, yeah, play Call of Duty day one for only $11 a month. And then when someone gets their Xbox, like, oh wait, I got to spend more. I got to spend $8. Like, again, this feels like somebody made this without thinking, or actually it's the opposite. They thought about it so well that they've masterfully crafted this, that the average consumer isn't going to think about it. So that's where we come in. We're doing the hard work of PR. So
I'm boycotting Game Pass for the rest of the year.
That's it. This show is over.
Until they fix the tier system, I'm out. I'm buying all games.
I know Microsoft is listening right now. You slimy bastards. We are boycotting you.
Sony would never do this.
Never. They love us. Absolutely love us. That's why you had to spend $70 on Last of Us Part 1 again.
And people did it. People actually did it. I
hate it so much.
The gamer, we're at the hour mark almost here. I would just say this. The gamer consumer is the dumbest consumer on the planet. I have never seen a group of consumerists as dumb as the gamer.
And let me be clear. I'm one of them.
You're right.
Don't think that we're calling you dumb. I bought Star Wars Jedi Survivor day one like an idiot, and it doesn't work. It still doesn't work properly. It's probably never going to work properly. And you know what? I'll probably buy the third one day one too.
You're
You know why?
absolutely
Because
you're
I'm an
absolutely
idiot.
right. You're absolutely correct. The
Oh.
gamer is the dumbest consumer I've ever seen. If you apply these practices to anything else in your life, you would not accept it, just on any level. So I'm not surprised at this. I'm not surprised the merger went through. I'm not surprised people are clapping their hands about it. I'm not surprised there's a new tier system for Game Pass. I'm not surprised people are clapping and happy about it. It's all expected, and it's only going to get more convoluted as time goes on.
And what I'll say to close this out is, if it wasn't for this show and the fact that we, in a weird way, we are still friends because of Game Pass. It's a way for us to bond. I'd be looking at this and be like, you know what? I don't need Ultimate anymore. I'm just going to stick with PC. And guess what? You'd be getting less money out of me then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I had a PC,
right?
Oh boy.
I say that to simply say that is the start of when you get people like me that are in the ecosystem asking all these questions and saying, you know what? I don't think I need this anymore.
That's such a good point. Yeah, if I had a PC, I probably wouldn't. For the podcast only, even then, I'd probably be like, yeah, Corey, we might want to play PC games only for a little bit, like,
or we could simply just be like, look, if I play a console game that's not on PC, we'll just do a dual episode. Like we could get around this. We really
could. Right.
But
we would try to figure out how to do it because we wouldn't be the only ones doing it, which is that's the thing Microsoft does not understand.
Consumers don't understand. So, all right, that's it. I'm done ranting. We're at the hour mark here. So
all right,
I feel like I haven't gone on a good rant in a long time. And I feel like that one was justified. So, all right, that's going to do this episode. Let us know what you think about the Activision merger or the absolutely terrible new tiered system for Game Pass. 574-651-9256. 574-651-9256. Anything else you want to say before the wrap this up here?
I just want to say I'm leaving. Good day, sirs. I'm out. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
I'm Margot Robbie, and I play Barbie.
And I'm Ryan Gosling, and I play Ken.
Max is now the exclusive streaming home of Barbie.
So cool.
And the Max with Ads plan is included with your Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. Log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever.
Don't miss Barbie, now streaming on Max. Phone plan streams in standard definition. Programming subject to change. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Sometimes during Christmas, something magical happens.
Hey, Cricket customers. The Max with Ads plan is included with the Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. And this holiday season, Max is the one to watch when you're feeling festive.
Son of a nutcracker!
Cozy up to all the holiday classics, like Elf, 8-Bit Christmas, and the Harry Potter 8-film collection. Just log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices. Phone plan streams in standard definition. Programming subject to change. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
And we are out.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI, from site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want, and manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.